Crack at the Supreme Court as retiring justice alleges abuse of power by the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He faults the composition of the Supreme Court panel that heard Atiku and Obi's appeal. Currently, there appears to be a crack at the Supreme Court barely 24 hours after it validated the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). A retiring justice of the court, Musa Tadijo Mohammed, who reportedly pulled out from the 7-man panel that dismissed all the appeals that sought to remove President Tinubu from the office, has accused the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, of abusing the powers of his office. Justice Mohammed, who spent 47 years in active judicial service, bowed out of the Apex Court bench on Friday, having clocked the 70 years mandatory retirement age. He used that opportunity of a validatory session that was organized in his honor by the Supreme Court to address what he observed as roots in the judiciary that have continued to affect the justice delivery system in the country. Through the years, he said, I rose to become the second most senior justice of the country's Apex Court and deputy chairperson of the National Judicial Council. Considering the number of years I've spent in the judicial service and the position I have attained by the grace of the Almighty, I feel obligated to continue the struggle for reforms for a better judiciary and would be leaning on the earlier submissions of those who had exited before me, Justice Mohammed stated before he descended on the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He maintained that the judiciary, as presently structured, gave so much power to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, who, he said, usually take decisions without consulting other justices. He continued, as presently structured, the Chief Justice of Nigeria is chairman of the National Judicial Council, which oversees both the appointment and discipline of judges. He is equally chair of the Federal Judicial Service Commission, the National Judicial Institute, NJI, the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee, LPPC, that appoints Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Now, in my considered opinion, the oversight functions of these bodies should not rest on an individual alone. A person with absolute powers, it is said, corrupts easily and absolutely. As chair of NJC, FJSC, NJI and LPPC, appointments as council, board and commitment members are at his pleasures. He neither confers with fellow justices nor seek their counsel or impute on any matter related to these bodies. He has both the final and the only say. The Chief Justice of Nigeria has power to appoint 80% of members of the council and 60% of members of the FJSC. The same applies to the National Judicial Institute and the LPPC. In his words, such enormous powers are effortlessly abused. This needs to change. Continued denial of the existence of this threatening anomaly weakens effective judicial oversight in the country, he added. He continued that on the current composition of the bench of the Apex Court, Justice Mohammed alleged that the refusal to fix the vacant slot of the Southeast on the Apex Court bench was deliberate, blaming it on absolute powers vested in the office of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He further stressed that with his retirement, the North Central Zone, which he represented, would no longer have a justice on the Supreme Court bench. My Lord Honorable Justice Ejimbi Eko JSC, who also represented the zone, retired on the 23rd of May 2022. It has been a year and 5 months now. There has not been any replacement. With the passing of my Lord Honorable Justice Chima Sentus Nweze, JSC, on the 29th July 2023, the Southeast no longer has any present. The Supreme Court. My Lord Honorable Justice Sylvester Nwale Uguta, JSV, died on the 7th of March 2021. Currently, there has not been any appointment in his stead for the Southeast. Now, as it stands, only 4 geopolitical regions, the South, West, the South-South, the Northwest, and the Northeast, are represented in the Supreme Court, while the South-South and the Northeast have 7 justices. The Northwest and the Southwest are fully represented with 3 each. Appropriate steps could have been taken since to fill the outstanding vacancies in the Apex Court. And why have these steps not been timelessly taken? In his words, it is evident that the decision not to fill the vacancies in the court is deliberate. It is all about the absolute powers vested in the office of the CJN and the responsible exercise of same. He also added that on the issue of membership of the panel that heard the presidential election appeals by the candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and the Labour Party (LP), Mr. Peter Obi, Mohammed spoke that to ensure justice and transparency in the presidential appeals from the lower courts, all geopolitical zones are required to participate in the hearing. It is therefore dangerous for democracy and equity for 2 entire regions to be left out in the decisions that will affect the generality of Nigerians. This is not what our laws envisage. That although it has been posited that no one expected the sudden passing of Honorable Justice Nweze, JSC, yet it has been 2 years and 7 months since previous justice from Southeast died and no appointment was made. And on funding and independence of the judiciary, the retiring justice bemoaned that though the budgetary allocation for the judiciary increased from 70 billion naira that it was in 2015 to 165 billion presently, justices and officers' welfare and the quality of service the judiciary renders have continued to decline.